The holidays are all about sharing with family. Meals, couches, stories, Grandma's secret pecan pie recipe. And now, you can also share a cart with Instacart's Family Carts. Everyone can add what they want to one group cart from wherever they are. So you don't have to go from room to find out who wants cranberry sauce, or who should get mini marshmallows for the yams, or collecting votes for sugar cookies versus shortbread. Just share a cart and then share the meals and the moments. Download the Instacart app and get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes. Plus, enjoy free delivery on your first 3 orders. Service fees and terms apply.
Radio you can touch.
Showtime. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Ready.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show, starring Bob Lutz.
Now you feel good because Max, who has a sense of humor of a pie.
Who threw those pies? Who threw those pies?
Oh, I threw the pies.
Either I'm losing it, my grasp on humor. I mean, I don't know, man.
Jeff Lutz.
Just be honest, the Downtown Athletic Club has no idea what you're doing. They don't know you exist.
Hey, listen, there's a phone call for you.
97.5 and 1240 KFH.
No logic, no reason, no explanation. Just a prolonged nightmare.
Are you ready? Let's go!
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to a Wednesday edition, the Bob and Jeff Show here on KFH Radio. I'm Bob Lutz, Jeff Lutz co-host. Max Power produces, engineers, 869-1240. That's the IHOP hotline. It's funny that we heard the promo today dealing some with my vote for the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah, do you still have that?
I have been. I got some correspondence from the folks with the Heisman Trophy.
And what do we hear?
And they did a little audit of who gets the vote, and they wanted to weed out some of the people who
I know exactly where this
is.
And I still get to vote.
Seem to be as involved as they once were, and they were satisfied that I met all the requirements, and they're honored to have me as a Heisman voter. I believe this will be my 20-something year.
Incredible.
As a voter for the Heisman Trophy. Thoughts?
Is one of the requirements wearing sunglasses on your head indoors?
Thoughts?
Congratulations. Who do you think you'll vote for today?
Not sure yet.
This year, this week, this month?
I'm not sure yet. Travis Hunter would likely be the top guy right now.
Still plenty of games to be played.
Lots of football left to be played, but I thought you'd be interested to know that even after an audit, the Heisman people...
How do you know there was an audit? Did they really say that?
They said that. They said we're looking at our voting mechanism.
I wish I had gotten a hold of the Heisman people and told them that's the last thing you need to hear is that, we even went through the process. We weeded people out. And you're still in. It makes for decent show fodder, but it doesn't make for a humble and grounded.
I think I'm very humble about it. I appreciate the opportunity.
Of course.
You're the one threatened by it.
Threatened?
Yeah, it bugs you to no end.
I wouldn't vote for the Heisman if they handed me a ballot.
Oh, you couldn't stop talking about it.
I wouldn't give them the satisfaction at the Downtown Athletic Club where the 90-year-olds swim and the light fixtures are out.
There you go again. Knocking one of the great traditions in sports, the Heisman Trophy.
I don't know what goes on at that club, and I don't want to be a part of that club.
That's just where they meet. That's where they have the ceremony.
Yeah, but what is it?
It's an athletic club.
Yeah, for?
In New York City. I'm looking forward to it. I always look forward to casting my vote for the Heisman Trophy.
Okay, as you should.
Now, you could make the case, well, you haven't really been on the ground covering college football since you retired in 2017. Was it 2017? Yes.
It's been a while.
And
I would make that case.
But they know that.
How do they know, do you think?
Well, they know that my qualifications now are from being the main host of a daily radio show.
But I'm threatened.
The main host.
Yeah, the main host.
No, not the co-host, not the sidekick, not the tag-along, but the main host. So
absolutely.
They take that seriously.
And why would they take that from you? How come, though, they haven't looked into, well, this guy does have someone attached to his name, another name attached to his on this show that we think gives him the credibility to vote for our nationally prestigious award, how come we don't take a look at that guy? Why do you think that is? It doesn't seem like they're doing a lot of due diligence. I think this audit
You've
thing
never
is just
really
for
done
show.
much to warrant being a Heisman voter. You have to be nominated and approved by your state's Heisman representative. And I was.
Who is that?
Used to be Kevin Haskin. I don't know. I doubt that he's still involved.
I wouldn't think so. But this Heisman organization sounds like they'll take about anybody.
Oh, now Kevin Haskin.
I'm just saying, another guy who's not really in the business anymore.
I don't think he has a vote anymore.
Well, he should.
Oh, now he should.
I'm going to lobby for.
But I shouldn't.
I wonder who the rep is.
I don't know. I've lost track of all that. I just know that the folks with the Heisman trust me beyond reproach.
Clearly. I'm sure your vote is one that will be highlighted during the ceremony.
You want to know what I did this morning? I hesitate to say it because it was really a somber meeting. The keynote speaker at the Youth Drug Summit at Eastminster Presbyterian Church. I was invited to speak by the Wichita Metro Crime Commission and Sharon Van Horn, and to talk about my experiences with the statue theft, and I did. But the first speaker was a KBI agent, Kansas Bureau of Investigation, who talked about losing his young son to fentanyl. And it was very emotional, very difficult. But the kids who were there were extremely attentive. All middle school kids. This is a drug summit for middle school youngsters from Wichita and the surrounding area. And it was really, I was really honored to be asked to talk about the theft of the Jackie statue by a man whose addiction to drugs led him to that crime and now to a long sentence in prison. Just unique. Just my life has changed in ways I couldn't even have imagined.
Yeah, that was a big event in the globe, and especially in your life. It sounds like you've mostly turned it into many positives, and today was another step on that positive journey, a positive experience.
When you're almost 70 years old and you get up to speak to a bunch of middle schoolers, man, I don't know. I told them, I'm this old man, but it seems like yesterday that I was in middle school, and that's the truth.
It does?
Yeah, it seems like not that long ago. I mean, I have vivid memories of my days in junior high school in Derby, and the difficulties I had as a junior high kid who had no clue. Just my whole identity at that time in life was, what can I do to disrupt? And I'm not really proud of that, but I came out of it.
Did you?
Yeah, I came out of it. But just to talk to young people and middle schoolers was quite an experience. I've done a lot of public speaking, but I haven't talked to a lot of middle schoolers. They seem to be paying attention.
Well, let's hope. I don't know. They're a tough crowd to handle at times.
Had a group there from Andale. Had a group from one of the schools here in Wichita. I think an Andover group. It was interesting. I was very pleased to be able to do that. All right, did you watch, which always results in...
I watched a lot of that game. It was boring beyond...
It wasn't a very fun game to watch. Now, the next game was Duke and Kentucky. Well, both of those teams are good. And KU's good. And Michigan State needs to not be in that tournament.
Can we talk about... Has the game passed anyone by more than it's passed by Tom Izzo? He doesn't go really into the transfer portal. I know they got one or two guys. They don't shoot threes. I mean, is this a team
they
out
shoot
of
them, they don't make them.
They don't make them. Yeah, they don't shoot that many either. They
shot a bunch last night. They just couldn't get any to go down.
Yeah, they don't have shooters.
Tom Izzo's a good coach, but Michigan State shouldn't be in the Champions Classic anymore. That should be Connecticut. And it should be Connecticut, Kentucky, Duke, and Kansas. And they should never play it again in Atlanta because that place
leave North Carolina out of
that.
Now,
Kentucky, obviously, is going to go to Atlanta. There were a bunch of Kentucky fans and a bunch of Duke fans. It's not too bad for them, but Kansas, Michigan State in Atlanta, that building was empty. It was there was no atmosphere. And
the game wasn't good.
It was difficult for Kansas to get its motor going. Remember their game against North Carolina where there was incredible atmosphere?
Of course, Allen Fieldhouse always has.
And KU played like it. Last night they didn't have that energy. They had enough to beat Michigan State, mainly because they just kept getting the ball to Hunter Dickinson, who kept scoring. But that's a good team. They're going to be fun to watch evolve. They're one of those KU's one of those teams again that they won't be like last year where they had no depth and they hit a wall. They're going to be in it for the long run.
It seems like KU teams always settle into having 6 guys, though, somehow, some way. I'm not saying that I don't know how that's going to happen, but it seems like Bill Self is most comfortable when he's got like a 6 or 7 man rotation. I don't know what if he knows what to do with 9 guys. I know he's playing
He's had times in the past.
I know he's playing a guy out of Northern Illinois. I don't know that he should be playing. At least he's not starting anymore. But it's a different thing for Bill Self to have a little bit of a bench. And if anyone's going to adjust and figure it out, he's not Tom Izzo. He actually has evolved.
Well, they're gonna play Zeke Mayo, who did not have a good game last night offensively. 6 points on 2 of 8 shooting, but he had 10 rebounds and 7 assists. That's the kind of guy Bill Self loves. Griffin's going to play. Store's going to play. He had a big year last year at Wisconsin. Badunga is going to play as a backup on the inside. But last night he played 5 guys for the bulk of the game. Store got 12 minutes. Badunga got 12 minutes, and Coit got 12 minutes. He only played 8 guys.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, you act like this team's going to have. I don't see that.
That's my point. That was my entire point.
Well, you made it sound like he's got all these guys. How's he going to distribute?
No, well, he does have a lot of guys, but I just don't think he's comfortable having a lot of guys. I think he's comfortable playing 7 or 8.
Well, he's got 8 guys.
He's got more than 8 guys.
Yeah, but he's got 8 guys who can play.
He's got 8 guys that he wants to play.
No, he's got 8 guys who can play.
No, I don't think that's true. If you only have 8 guys who can play and you're KU, then you don't have enough guys who can play. He has 8 guys he wants to put in.
Well, I don't.
And the 8 might change, or the 7 might change.
I don't think so. I think this is pretty much what you're going to see. And this is a good 8 guys.
Okay.
Last year they didn't have 8 guys.
No, they didn't. And they might not end up having 8 guys this year.
I predict they have 8 guys.
You think Flory Badunga is going to be a guy long term?
I do. I think he's a good player.
He's okay.
He's athletic. He does exactly what a backup front court player needs to do. He's defensively pretty good.
He's getting minutes as a freshman.
I don't have a problem with him. To me, he's a guy. We have a couple guys on the show today. Derek Tuttle, head football coach at Andover Central, will join us at 2:25. We'll talk about their upcoming game with Wellington in the Class 4A playoffs. The winner of that one gets to the West Championship, and then they're just a win away from playing for a state title. Mike Furchess will be our guest at 2:45 today. I got a lot to talk to Mike about, especially as it relates to the show called Yellowstone.
Oh, we can't wait.
Well, I bet a lot of people can't wait.
No question.
That's a fairly popular show, you understand.
I hear that it is.
It returned last Sunday night for the final episodes of its final season. I've got a lot to say about Yellowstone.
Okay. Well, we can't again.
Well, aren't you eager to hear?
No, I don't watch Yellowstone, so I'm sure Mike is raring to go and excited as possibly can be.
How do you avoid Yellowstone? It's right up your alley.
How is it? What is my alley?
Well, you like Western shows. You like shows like this.
I do?
Yeah.
Like what?
I don't know. I've heard you talk about them.
Interesting.
Kevin Costner?
My one epic all-time, prestige TV show is and always will be Breaking Bad. And I'll watch Breaking Bad a 93rd time before I decide I'll watch a different show.
Really?
Pretty much, yeah.
What about Longmire?
Longmire, I watched half an episode of that.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, could it have been worse.
My wife and I absolutely love that show.
It looked awful.
It's one of the best shows I've ever seen.
No, I think my wife watched it. But
good for her. She has impeccable taste.
Started watching The Lincoln Lawyer last night. Have you delved into that?
No, I haven't gotten that.
Yeah, you should.
We're still getting through Newhart.
Oh. See, but I get made fun of for watching Breaking Bad.
There's nothing wrong with watching Newhart. It just takes forever because in those days,
you said it started to not
there were 24 episodes. No, it's still good. There were 24 episodes in a season, and when you watch them back to back to back, as we sometimes do. Now we went 2 weeks without watching any, but then recently we watched 3 episodes in a row. And when Larry, Daryl, and Daryl are in all 3 episodes, and you get a little tired of that, but then...
Why? What's wrong with Larry, Daryl, and
William
Daryl?
Sanderson makes you think, you know what? He does so well with the Larry character that, no, I'm not tired of him.
All right. Well, this would have been a heck of a conversation.
Ted Woodward
in 1981.
If we could have Ted Woodward here.
That's the show you want to do. Just do that
That is the show I want to do.
Just do the 70s.
Tony, if you could fire Ted from the Steve and Ted show and bring him over here.
And fire me.
And put Jeff on weather duty. No offense to the weather.
Just do a podcast with Ted and talk all the 60s and 70s stuff you can possibly wrap your arms around.
We'd have to go into Shocker fan. Wouldn't we?
No, we all would hope not. We'd like those characters to be retired. But you can certainly talk about your Newharts and your High Rollers and your Jane Fondas or whoever you're going to discuss.
On Facebook? He always posts about shows that debuted 40 years ago and actors who died 20 years ago, and it's a must follow. If you're,
am I going to be that?
No, you'll never be interesting
when I get older.
You'll never be interesting.
Will I be just?
No, you won't.
Remember 40 years ago?
You won't be interesting.
I'm not asking if I'll be interesting.
But that's what interesting is.
Really?
Yes.
Living in the past is
That's
interesting?
Not living in the past. Ted lives very much in the present.
He does?
But he also enjoys nostalgia.
Okay. I sent him a text during the Shocker basketball game and never heard back.
He doesn't like you.
That might be.
And is there any reason? It's obvious why.
Why?
Because you get on this show and you demean people.
Well, if you want to talk about stuff that happened before I was born, you're going to have to talk to people who aren't me. So find somebody, because I can't give you what I felt or feel watching Newhart. I remember watching Newhart when I was young, but it's not something I feel like I need to go back and watch.
Well, I don't care what you watch. But why do you care what I watch?
I don't, but I'm just telling you I have nothing to contribute if this show is going to center around things that happened many decades ago.
You asked me if I'd watched Lincoln Lawyer. Talk about living in the past.
Lincoln Lawyer, that's a
remake of a movie that came out
5 years ago?
Forever ago. Why do I need to watch that? I saw the movie.
Well, this is a TV show. It's different, I guess. Or it isn't. Who knows?
Well, you're living in the past, man.
I am?
Sure.
Well, I don't remember having a real fondness for the Lincoln Lawyer in the past.
Well, you never watched the movie.
There you go. I watched it with Matthew McConaughey.
I watched the movie.
Is that the movie you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, well,
It had to be at least 10 years ago.
yeah, it's probably around then.
Maybe more.
Probably, I would say 2012, 13-ish.
So, yeah, I don't, get in the future, my friend. Get in the present.
Yeah, but at least there are people alive who saw the Lincoln Lawyer. 2011.
We'll take a break. When we come back, Derek Tuttle will be our guest. Andover Central has had a tremendous season, only one loss. They are trying to get back to the state championship game, which they got to last year. We'll talk with Derek Tuttle of Andover Central next.
The holidays are all about sharing with family. Meals, couches, stories, Grandma's secret pecan pie recipe. And now, you can also share a cart with Instacart's family carts. Everyone can add what they want to one group cart from wherever they are. So you don't have to go from room to room to find out who wants cranberry sauce, or who should get mini marshmallows for the yams, or collecting votes for sugar cookies versus shortbread. Just share a cart and then share the meals and the moments. Download the Instacart app and get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes. Plus, enjoy free delivery on your first 3 orders. Service fees and terms apply.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show on 97.5. And
Derek Tuttle joins us, the head football coach at Andover Central. They're taking on Wellington Friday night in a Class 4A Western semifinal at Andover Central. Derek, hello, welcome.
Hi, guys. Thanks a lot for having me.
You bet. So we talked to you at the start of the year. You expected that you were going to have a good year. Has it met your expectations?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we're in a good spot at the start of the year with the number of kids we had coming back and a lot of experience, and you always are excited about that. But you never know with the schedule, how that's going to play out. And we had to overcome quite a few challenges this year, and overall, we're in a pretty good position at this point, and we have a big challenge Friday night.
You've won just about every type of game this year, or at least played in them. You've played in low-scoring games. You've played in close games. You've played in blowouts. I think Wellington might be kind of the same because they can put up a lot of points, as can you. What type of game do you expect on Friday against Wellington?
That's a good question. Sometimes when you see teams that are matched up that have high-powered offenses, it turns out being like a low-scoring game, so it's really hard to tell. But they do have a lot of weapons on both sides of the ball, especially in the receiving core. But they're a very balanced team. They do a lot of things extremely well, in the run game as well as the pass game. And so I expect it'll be, a close matchup. There's a lot of good matchups across the board as far as personnel is concerned. And the kids are excited for it, and they know it'll be a tough challenge because they're going to bring in a very good football program into our stadium.
Yeah, as a longtime observer of high school football, it's good to see Wellington back in some prominence. So certainly applaud them and what they've been able to accomplish. Your team is really, really good, obviously, and you have some veteran leadership. Your offense with Jace Jefferson, who's had another really good year. You've got a running back by the name of Maddox Archibald, who's really good. You have a group of receivers. It's just a really well-rounded offense, isn't it?
Yeah, we like to think so, and I guess that's one thing that makes it easier for us coaches. It allows us to be a little more balanced offensively. We're able to spread the ball around in the air when we need to, and when we were challenged with that, we have a great ground game with Maddox, and of course all the veteran big guys we have up front blocking for him as well. So it's a fun group to coach, and the guys are they're really excited about putting forth the best effort this Friday, and it's an exciting time when you got a team like that can do multiple things.
I was going to ask you if you celebrate individual accomplishments, and I was going to use Maddox as an example because he's over 12,000 yards. He was over 1,200 yards. I meant to say 1,000, and it came out 12,000. But he's over 1,000. He was over 1,000 last year, about the same total. I guess that would be the first part of the question. The second part is he seems to have found another gear this season. So what have you seen from him, and how has he improved?
Yeah, well, first of all, if he's got 12,000 yards, we need to give the ball to him a lot more than what we do. But no, yes. I get what you're saying. He's been a tremendous asset to our team, to say the least. I mean, he's been a leader for us offensively in just about every game. The funny thing about that is that we really don't touch on a lot of stats or really highlight a lot of those things until the season's over. And then we kind of pause and celebrate what we did reflectively. But, and even Maddox says that, he mentioned that to the newspaper guy after last week's win. He says, yeah, not really concerned about the stats or how many yards, because he had a great game. He had over, I think, 240 rushing, something like that, against Winfield. And he says, yeah, just want to help the team get on the next week. And, you really appreciate that, the character of that comment from a senior leader. And, and that's how he is. He's a very unselfish kid. He plays that way in all the sports that he plays in. But he's, as a running back, he's just really, really natural at finding the hole, making the right cuts, has great vision. He's not a very big guy, but he has a tremendous heart and tremendous fight when it comes to bigger and dirtier tasks, like some of the pass pro things that we ask him to do as well. Which don't really show up necessarily in the stat sheet unless it's a bad thing, with sacks. So he helps us in a lot of ways that might go unseen by the casual eye. Most people see him running for touchdowns, but he does a lot of really good stuff for our program.
Talking with Derek Tuttle from Andover Central. They are once beaten this year. They're going into a big game Friday night at home against Wellington in the Class 4A playoffs. The other side of the bracket has Wamego. They've built a heck of a program. They're at home against Buhler, which obviously Steve Warner, one of the top coaches in the state. How much do you pay attention to any of that, or is that just sideline noise until you can win the game Friday and then move on to thinking about Wamego and Buhler?
Yeah, well, as coaches, we're always kind of curious how things are playing out, and especially with that's a rematch game from earlier in the season, where Wamego got them the first time around, and I expect it might be a good matchup this time around. But as far as the team and the rest of us are concerned, we try to stress to the kids that there is no next week, and that's the kind of the line that we use in the playoffs, is that there's no next week until we earn it. And so we put all of our focus and all of our attention on what's in front of us with Wellington, just to keep our mindset in the right place.
What are some of the barometers you use for week-to-week improvement? How do you know you're getting better? And I sort of asked that because you played Hutchinson in week one and really took it to them, and here they are in the same position you are. So obviously there's some improvement there. What about for you and your team? What do you look at mostly to kind of gauge that?
The easy thing to look at would be, on the things that show up on the surface, like your penalties, mistakes, especially pre-snap penalties, things like that. Are we improving in that area? But things that may not show up to, the casual fan would be just the little technique things that we see as coaches on film. Are we doing the right things? Even in some of our big wins where we had a big margin of victory, did we do the right things technique-wise? Did we take the right steps? Did we have the right hand placement? And you could go on and on about, did we run the right routes? Did we have the right spacing? There's a lot of little details to the game of football that, we have the advantage of which I really like about football. You play one game a week, and so it's a really big deal each week. So the games don't get watered down, so to speak. And so that allows us more time to focus on those little details for improvement. I think that's what makes the game a lot of fun and helps us get better. And just the little details of the game is really what we look at there.
Talking with Derek Tuttle here from Andover Central. A few more moments. You know, the position of quarterback is so instrumental at the NFL level, the college level, maybe a little less so at the high school level. I'll let you determine that and answer that. But you have one of the best in Jace Jefferson, whose mother happens to be a friend of our show. We really enjoy.
Friend of everybody's.
We've enjoyed her over the years, Stana. And I want you just, Derek, if you don't mind, to talk about maybe twofold. How important is it at the high school level to have this kind of high caliber quarterback? And then how high caliber has Jace been for you?
Well, you know, it's a tremendous deal as far as, and every high school coach will tell you that, and their old adage of, you know, quarterbacks sometimes get too much blame in losses and too much credit in wins and that sort of thing. And I don't know if that's the exact way to phrase it, but I will say that, you know, it's hard to put a value on having poise and making great decisions and having the character to not get too rattled and to bounce back after bad plays. And that's something that is not easy to do for, you know, 16, 17, 18-year-old kid by any means, let alone a, you know, college or pro quarterback. You see some of that on TV and some of the body language that you see in higher level quarterbacks. They struggle with, you know, adversity and things like that. And so that's what's been so impressive about Jace is not only is he a tremendous player, he's got great feet and got a great arm and very good accuracy, but probably one of the most impressive things is just how he's very, very coachable. He knows how to keep his poise in challenging situations, and he keeps his head about him, and that's hard to coach, but sometimes that comes naturally, and probably inherited some things from his parents, both of whom were, you know, coaches or former coaches. His dad is used to coach as a principal now, so. But that's a great asset to any team, and we really appreciate all Jace does for our program.
So you had Andover this year. Obviously, they had a much better season. You played Goddard and Goddard Eisenhower. Those games that between the four of you were all really competitive, and you know, you share in common that you're the only two high schools in those towns. So what's unique about a town that has two schools, two football programs, obviously, especially two that play each other, you know, once or twice a year?
Yeah, it makes for a lot of excitement in the town, especially when the rivalry game comes up. You know, the kids get fired up for it, the coaches get fired up for it, and I think it's great for football. You know, it's something that I even had some people remark that they went to our Andover game. Actually, some JUCO coaches said they went to our Andover game to scout a few players, and they thought it was one of the coolest things they'd ever been to, just the atmosphere of the game and how excited the fans are and things like that. And that's pretty special. You know, I think Goddard and Goddard Eisenhower have that. I think May South do year in, year out. And so, you know, when we first started playing the game, it was kind of challenging because, you know, we're playing people that we were, you know, just teaching with and coaching with not very long ago, and kids we just had in class not very long ago. So it's a little easier nowadays now that we've been split a little bit longer, but it can be a lot of fun. It's great for football, like I said.
Derek, thanks for your time. We appreciate talking with you. Big game coming up Friday night at home against Wellington for Andover Central. Derek Tuttle, Andover Central coach. Thank you again, and best of luck on Friday.
Hey, appreciate it. Thanks again, guys.
All right, there you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm torn on that one. I like, obviously, we want our immediate area teams to do well, but you know, I'm fairly well known in Wellington now, thanks to my wife, and she's big in that community, and that's going to be a heck of a football game.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how that one shakes out.
You going to go?
No. Maybe I'll go into work on Friday night. I keep saying I'll do that and contribute and help out, but I haven't done it yet. Maybe.
We'll see about it.
We'll see.
I don't put much into Whatever you think.
Yeah, I can do whatever I want. That's the great thing about it.
That's wonderful. It's great you have that kind of a job. I got to do what the people want.
What are you talking about?
I do what the people want on this show.
You do?
Sure, I do.
What were you writing over on Facebook a little while ago?
I'm putting a post in
there.
Is
that post live yet? Or was that
not yet? Okay. Working on it. Mike Furchess joining us to talk pop culture. Mike, hello, welcome.
Lincoln Lawyer. I think that movie was released in 2011. I've not seen the series, but I want to watch it. I thought the movie way back when, what was that now? Well, 13, 14 years ago was actually pretty good. So, but
I enjoyed the movie
anyway. Yeah, I did as well.
It's just ironic for Jeff to throw stones about me watching things from the past
when I'm watching a show.
When he's watching a show inspired by a 13-year-old movie, Mike.
Yeah. You know what, Bob? It's a shame that you're watching like probably the most popular and most talked about television show in the country right now with Yellowstone. But, you know, that's how us old folks are. We try to stay current. You know, that's better than some of the younger folks, I guess. So,
Mike, I want to start with Yellowstone because as with everyone who's invested in this series and enjoyed it, I was totally underwhelmed with the return episode. I thought they really treated the Kevin Costner situation poorly. I just didn't like any of it. And I'm thinking to myself after that episode, is there a likable character on that television series?
Well, the one son, that's it. And but, you know, I kind of saw it different. I hate that Costner's gone. And you know, after our discussion last week, I think we can pretty much say emphatically that he will not be back in any way, shape, fashion, or form. There's no way. But I think that Sheridan's going to have to pull a rabbit out of the hat. But is he capable of doing it? And I'm willing to give it a shot because I think there's a chance. It'll be interesting to say. I hope I can say this on the radio. Have that bleep button ready. But there's going to be hell to pay. And between Beth and the other characters in the show, between Beth and the other characters, we might see that. And who knows what's going to happen with this last season? But I'll be watching. That's for sure. So. But I hate that Kevin Costner's
I will be watching. I just feel like the whole Kevin Costner thing threw them all for a loop because they obviously had to address that. The series would have been much different had he not decided to leave. So they had this is a major change in course, and I just thought maybe they did the best they could. Maybe we knew it was going to be awkward and unsatisfying. But I don't know what you could have done to make it better. But it just didn't hit me right.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to necessarily make it better. It'll make it interesting. But I'm with you. I like Kevin Costner, but the contract negotiations and everything else, which caused the ending that we've got, the ending that we're going to see, I will guarantee you, is not the ending or the series that they intended. And everything's changed. Everything's changed because of it. But Beth, as evil as some of the characters are, I'm kind of anxious to see how they get revenge to some extent. So it's definitely
it's going to be. I'm not giving up on it, but
that and one of the movies that I just watched last night are people love it or hate it, and there are people that seem to love what's happening. And there are clearly many, many thousands of people that have walked away from Yellowstone. But I know others that love it that are excited to see the final season. So we will see, as they say.
And Kelly Riley front and center in that series, Yellowstone, of course. Also a starring role in a movie you may be alluding to called Here with Tom Hanks and Robin Wright. And I know you've seen that movie. It's...
I don't think he's seen it yet.
I think he has.
Well, I wanted to see it with you, Jeff, and I kept waiting to hear back when we could see it.
And then you came back with 8:15 or later, tell me your schedule because we are going to go see that movie.
What I'll do is I will email you the schedule. I did see the movie, and I'll watch it again because it's a movie that people love it or hate it. I loved it. I was so emotionally pulled. The director, Robert Zemeckis, is a genius. I think he is one of the great filmmaking geniuses of our time, and much in so many ways, like in Forrest Gump, he pulls some special effects. The way that they use CGI, we see Tom Hanks from a young teenager all the way through an old man, and it's all Tom Hanks. And they're using CGI or face capture. They're doing something, and it's incredible filmmaking. The way I've never seen a movie like it. The whole movie is shot from one camera angle of everything that you see on screen until the very end of the movie. And at that point, I'm crying. I'm literally crying and sobbing in the movie like a baby. And I'm a pretty tough guy. I grew up in a tough environment. And I don't think I've been as emotionally moved in a movie in a very long time. And so I will definitely I'll send you my schedule, and we can plan on going, and I'll go see it when you want to. And I'll see it again, but I'll send it to you here a little bit after we get done with the show. So, but it's
please do. I was going to.
The way
go
they
ahead.
Let him talk about the movie.
I was going to ask about the movie. Go ahead.
From one angle, the whole movie from prehistoric until modern times, with about 5 different stories woven in together with one camera angle. It's truly amazing. And it takes place in the house across from where Benjamin Franklin grew up at, is all I'll say. But you see it from the beginning and the dawn of time is how the movie opens. And technically, from an editing, directing perspective, it will win the Oscars, I think. And if it doesn't, it's a shame. And you remember how Zemeckis used a feather in Forrest Gump? He uses the hummingbird here in very much the same way. And little things like that. And the story, it's one of Tom Hanks, I think, and Robin Wright's best movies ever. And so I would gladly look forward to seeing it with you again. Yeah, it's that good. But there's people that hate it.
I was going to ask just.
Now go ahead. I read the reviews and just couldn't believe it. Go ahead, Jeff.
Mike, come up for air so Jeff can ask a question, and then you talk some more. Yeah.
I was just going to ask about the use of AI and CGI and, what is that called where you can change the face to be somebody else? I can't remember the term for that, but all of this stuff that you can use now in movies, is it ultimately going to be for the better, do you think, or will it get into the wrong hands and maybe we'll see the underbelly?
That's a really good question. I mean, the whole question of AI, and that was the reason, if people remember, that was the reason for the strike with SAG-AFTRA. It had to do with how we use AI, can you use voices and imagery, and this shows the movie shows the potential danger of Hollywood, and I hate that word, of Hollywood, as an example, being able to take advantage of and use and manipulate movies. And I think Hanks did this, with his full collaboration and his full support. But it does show the potential danger of that, and we shall see. So, but I did see another movie, Bob, that I think that you and Debbie, especially Debbie, would especially love. And
well, we're going to go this weekend. I'm gonna make it a point to go to a movie this weekend sometime and get that behind me and get that off my chest. I wanted to ask you, it was announced today that, and forgive me for not being able to pronounce her last name. Do you know that one?
I think it's just Nyong'o.
Lupita Nyong'o has been touted to appear in the next Christopher Nolan movie, joining Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Zendaya. We don't even know the name of the movie. We don't even know the premise of the movie. There's been a lot of guessing. It's not going to come out until July of 2026. Christopher Nolan, obviously the last movie he made, Oppenheimer, was an epic. I believe it will go down in history as one of the greatest movies ever to be made. Now we have all this anticipation about his next movie. How do you live up to that?
It's very difficult, and sometimes we have expectation. Babylon was a movie kind of like that there was all this expectation, and it seriously flopped. I would say that the names that's associated, and many of those that you just mentioned, those are oftentimes indicators of a hit. because they're in pretty good movies. And we shall see what happens. I tend to think that most of the things that he's created, if not all the things he's created, I think have been very insightful and very, very artful in a lot of ways, very art-oriented. So, and people forget about that sometimes.
Is he on the Mount Rushmore now of directors?
I think he is. What did you just say about Oppenheimer? One of the great films of all time. That kind of.
Well, who is? You have Scorsese and Spielberg.
Finish. Well, you got to learn to give Mike his room.
Mike, here's something about you. I love you. You never finish. So we either got to.
But let him finish his thought.
Well, it's hard to tell. And there's so many great directors. Oppenheimer's definitely a great film, and Nolan and so many others. I think the Mount Rushmore of filmmakers has to include more than 4, maybe upwards of 6 or 7 different directors.
No, they can't do that on Mount Rushmore. So Jeff's point was, who do you see as the 4? You think Spielberg,
Scorsese, Spielberg is the start of that, and I don't know who the other 2 are off the top of my head.
And I'll see what my friend Mike Furchess thinks of this. I would say maybe Christopher Nolan, but what about Alfred Hitchcock?
Well, Hitchcock would certainly be up there as far as I'm concerned as well. I'm not so sure about Scorsese. I mean, he's had some flops. And while I like most of his movies, I don't know if he would be Mount Rushmore worthy. Hitchcock, Spielberg, Nolan, and I'd have to think fairly seriously about that 4th person. But I don't think it would be Scorsese.
Well,
me.
if you don't put Scorsese, you'll have a dead horse's
Quentin
head.
Tarantino.
You're a dead horse's head in your bed tomorrow morning.
That
was a dark thought.
Spike Lee.
Spike Lee.
Yeah, he's on the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
There it is. Tarantino, Spike Lee, Spielberg, the other guy I said. Scorsese.
What about Christopher Nolan?
Not over those 4.
Oh, please.
We're talking Mount Rushmore.
All right, we'll get into this.
We have to draft directors next time. The other one
hey, do me a favor and on a Facebook post mention this discussion and think about it and put your 4 up there.
Okay, I'll do that.
Don't go beyond 4.
Okay, I'll go 4. But the other movie I'm going to recommend is The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. It is one of the better Christmas movies. The story is a great story, but especially, Bob, I think you'd especially enjoy it because when underprivileged kids are given an opportunity, the beautiful things that can transpire and the hope that can be given is an amazing thing. And I fully believe that Debbie would love that movie, and I think you'll enjoy it as well. It's one of the most fun.
I remember loving that book in elementary school.
Yeah, it plays.
Sorry for the interruption, Mike.
I thought you had a period on the end of that sentence, so I apologize.
All right, Mike. Good suggestions, good recommendations. I look forward to reading your Facebook post on your Mount Rushmore of directors. I think it's a fascinating topic, and I'll certainly weigh in with mine on your post. Okay.
Okay, sounds good. And Jeff, text me your email address again. I've got it, but text it, and I'll have it, and I'll text you that schedule.
Sounds good. I'll do that.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
All right. Take a break now. We'll come back. Another hour to go. We'll talk some college basketball, some NFL, some college football. Tomorrow on the show, C.J. Moore from The Athletic, as we talk more college basketball. We'll make our picks. And author John Feinstein will join the show. He's got a new book out. We'll talk a little bit about that. John Feinstein, one of the great sports authors. He might be on the Mount Rushmore of sports authors. Thoughts?
Could be.
Yeah. Thanks for your enthusiasm.
Francis Ford Coppola, though, I'd put in over Tarantino.
Because of one body of work?
Yeah.
Because of the Godfather movie?
Yeah, pretty much.
No. We'll be back.
Showtime. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Ready.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show, starring Bob Lutz.
I have no clue who
It is
I
a little
am,
different, but when
who you are.
when
You,
Duda and I do
you
it-
even look different.
That can only mean one thing.
Jeff Lutz.
Nope, no. There's Elvis for you. Oh, I'm going to pass out. That was so funny.
You are not cool.
97.5 and 1240 KFH.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
We are back, hour number 2, the Bob and Jeff Show here on KFH Radio, monitoring the hot stove and baseball goings on.
Anything happening?
In the NBA, the NFL, college basketball, college football.
You're
It's
going to get
all
into the NBA Cup?
Yeah, you're developing a real.
You can list every sport, but we're going to have to
You're developing a really irritable habit of interjecting yourself.
If you want to list every sport, you can, but we'll have to.
Mike Furchess
hit a topic
barely
at some
got a
point.
word in edgewise.
Golf,
a segment designed for him.
Bowling.
I mean, that's why I have Mike on.
Cricket.
Not to hear you interrupt him.
Crickets.
I mean, my goodness, why do you do that? What's happened? You didn't used to do that.
Mike doesn't break. He's been on the radio for 31 years, and he doesn't get us a break so we can have a little conversation. It's a conversation, right? He's our guest. Yes, we want to hear what he says, but we got to get some stuff.
What did you add to that conversation?
I thought I added a lot to that conversation, as usual, and I need to text him.
Well, yeah, now text him. After you've thrown him under the bus.
Oh, Mike would do the same to me, and I'd welcome it.
Well, I don't think you would.
Of course I would.
Did you happen to watch the late game? Now, I understand you do need to get to bed a little earlier.
I did not watch the late game.
I watched a half of it. Duke seemed to have a comfortable lead. And then I get up and I see Kentucky really stormed back, and beat what I thought looked like almost an unbeatable Duke team in the first half.
Kentucky is interesting, man. They have no players who were on the team last year. A couple.
Yeah, they don't have any.
I think they have one or two.
Team.
But nobody who played a significant role, and they just went out and got all these transfers who are good. They're good players, and they were valuable pieces at their previous teams. They didn't just pick off.
That's the idea of the transfer portal.
I know, but there's also an idea of let's get underutilized guys and
you know what you can do when you're Kentucky?
Get pretty much anybody.
Yeah.
But it's still a guy coming over from BYU hasn't proven himself on the blue blood level yet.
I'm glad you added that. He's a good coach.
He's a very good coach.
Mark Pope will do a good job there. They needed a change. They needed something new at Kentucky. The Calipari experience had grown stale. He's in a good spot now at Arkansas. And
where did Musselman end up?
I don't care where he ended up.
I like Eric Musselman.
Couldn't care less where Mussy is.
Let's find out.
As Dude and I call him.
USC.
We've done that on this show.
No, I don't think.
Where's their former coach?
Who? Andy Enfield?
Yeah, where'd he go? Let's play this out.
Let's find out.
See how far we can go.
Andy Enfield is at SMU.
Where'd their coach go?
Who was their coach?
Well, I can't remember, but
Tim Jankovic.
No,
a long time ago.
But this guy at SMU was pretty highly thought of. I think he got a bigger job, a better job.
He may have, but
what's his name?
No, I don't think he got a. Well, who is it?
Who is it? Give it to us.
Rob Lanier.
Yeah, where'd he go? Oh, he's at. I think he's at Rice.
He is at Rice.
Where'd the Rice coach go?
Well, let's find out.
See how long you can get this.
Well, there's going to be a time where a program is not good enough.
Until we get to a coach who just couldn't get another job. And it might be Rice.
It is. Their former coach was Scott Pera.
Where'd he go?
P-E-R-A. He is not a head coach this year.
Where is he?
Let's find out.
Whose staff is he on?
It's got to be on somebody's staff.
Rob Lanier was pretty highly thought of. It was, it didn't work for him at SMU, but I think Rice feels like they got a guy.
Wikipedia still says he's the head coach at Rice.
Well, if Wikipedia's behind, you've landed in some troubled waters.
Here's his Twitter. Does he have a bio? No.
We wish the best to Rob Parra.
Scott Parra.
Well, Rob, I don't care about Scott.
No, why would you?
I used to know a guy named Rob Parra.
I doubt it. Yeah, I don't think he's anywhere this year.
Why would you doubt me?
I just do.
Oh, my
No reason necessarily.
Take me through anything of interest. Because the NBA is just getting hammered all over the place.
For one guy.
Does anybody like the NBA anymore?
I do. I enjoy the NBA.
Who's the one guy hammering it?
No, the one guy who's being hammered is
Not
Joel
Bronny.
Embiid.
Well, Joel Embiid.
Yeah, he's the guy being hammered, and people are using that to downplay the NBA. Did you see? We can get back to the NBA.
Load management's killing that.
Did you see Bronny James is only going to play home games in the G League? Why does he need to have a basketball career?
He doesn't. Let LeBron have his moment.
They did. He scored. Let's move on.
And then we'll get to the end of it at some point. Don't worry about it.
I'm not worried, but just come on.
LeBron James, let him have his moment.
He did. They had their moment.
Fine, and he doesn't care. He's not out there saying, "Oh, bring him back to L.A."
Oh, He
doesn't care if he plays. He had his moment.
That's my point. So why does he need to be in the G League? What's he doing when they're on the road? Does he have some?
Well, he's getting better. He's working out.
You know how you get better?
You can't get better on the road.
You know how you get better? By playing.
No, you get better by going and working on your skills.
In games.
Right. I did a lot of working on my skills.
And you didn't play, so there you go.
When I was in school.
No, you didn't.
Of course I did.
What skill did you ever work on?
Defense.
How about
trying to become a better defender?
How about you work on the skill of...
I didn't need any work on my offensive game, the coaches said.
That's what they said? You must have been really bad defensively then.
Well, they had to find something for me.
Not even a JV level player.
They had to find something for me to get better at. If I'd been if I'd had a little more foot speed as an athlete.
Oh, my goodness.
It would have been unbelievable. I just couldn't run very fast.
What do you think about raising someone who ran fast for about 2 or 3 years?
Well, I was happy for you, but what'd you turn it into? I couldn't run, and I got a college offer.
Well, that's true.
You better watch out, man. I will always have that on you.
Really, though? Seward County?
Not Seward County.
Cloud County?
And Garden City. Now, the Garden City thing never actually turned into an offer. But that's because they knew I was...
Dead set.
I was so blown away by the Cloud County offer.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I think it was free books or free book. And...
so what'd you... we know when you get free stuff, you sell it. So what'd you sell that free book for?
Free book, and we'll teach you how to spell tuition. I believe that was the offer.
Congrats.
But it was better than any offer you had.
No, I didn't get any.
And had I had foot speed, the offers...
No one wanted me to go to their college, although by the end, literally, WSU wanted badly for me to be out of college. So there is that.
Well, yeah, you were a problem for everybody. Yours truly, your mother, Les Anderson.
It was Les Anderson who I believe died on this day 11 or 12 years ago.
I think was it today or yesterday? One of your former professors, one of my very good friends, and a short-time co-worker.
Beyond that, he was just a wonderful human being.
Well, I said one of my very good friends.
Yeah, but not just your friend, everybody's friend.
No, he's one of my friends.
He was everybody's friend.
Sure he was. Everybody who knew Les loved him.
That's my point. That's what I'm saying.
But he was, he was my friend.
He was my family friend. I was a family friend of
I got Spike, our good friend Spike, to do some caretaking. Back in the day.
Why did we not go Bluma a second year? Was he out of college by then?
No, 1 year around Jamie was enough.
No, that was awesome. No offense to Spike, but I like the Bloom atmosphere a little bit more.
One more year, Jamie.
I like that atmosphere a little better.
Why?
Because he took me to his dorm. We played video games. We played music. It's just fun.
Well, I didn't want you around that.
Not his dorm, but his apartment.
I didn't want you around that atmosphere.
No, I did. I wanted to be around.
I'd tell Jamie that today. There's no way you're going to poison the mind of my son.
We went and ordered 5 roast beef sandwiches for $5 at Arby's. That's what Jamie said. Oh, I love that guy. Love Spike, too.
What about Darcy?
Darcy was wonderful.
She's on the board of League 42 right now.
One time, Darcy came into our house, and I thought we were being robbed, and I ran across the floor and fell down.
Idiot. Just why in the world would you react like that?
Well, who's coming in our house? We're the only two people.
The person I gave the key to.
Yeah, we're the only.
Imagine that.
The only 2 people that live there are there.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, you were.
No, I wasn't.
You were downstairs.
No, of course not.
I wasn't home alone.
I don't remember that happening.
I remember it.
No clue what you're
anyway, I'd let Jamie babysit me to this day.
Jamie just got married. Congratulations to him. He must be right at 50 now. Maybe a year or two older.
51 or 2.
That's amazing, isn't it? It's absolutely incredible.
He's 52 as of May 18th.
That these folks get to be that age. It seems like yesterday I was around that Shocker team and he was a huge part of.
Pitched in the big leagues.
And would have pitched longer except for an injury. So anyway, Joel Embiid, the Sixers are terrible.
They have been so far.
The Bucks aren't very good. So what you have is entitled athletes who now believe that they shouldn't have to play every day. What's Joel Embiid get paid?
A lot. Most people do play, though.
But you got too many of the superstars who are
it's not like that as much anymore.
Oh, please.
It isn't. They clamp down on it. You have to play 65 games to be eligible for postseason awards. So these guys are out there. That's why you only hear basically now about Joel Embiid doing it and a little bit of Paul George. You don't. And Kawhi Leonard's the other one.
The Sixers and Bucks are a combined 5-16.
Joel Embiid is a $50 million a year player.
Are you wonder why we have difficulty with that?
No, I don't wonder. I'm just saying.
You don't seem to have.
I'm just saying it's not a widespread issue.
I don't see you talking about it.
Well, I'm not that invested in his career or the 76ers. If one of my guys was doing it, if Tyrese Halliburton was doing it, I'd be upset.
Why aren't you upset?
But Tyrese Halliburton is hurt and still plays.
Makes me angry.
I just don't want
Philly. They better trade him because that crowd ain't forgiving him.
I don't know. Were they at home last night?
I don't know. I don't follow the NBA right now.
I just know the inside the NBA guys went off on him last night.
Well, I wish I'd watched that.
And he's trying to kind of recover by saying, "Oh, I want to play back-to-backs," but today they have a back-to-back and he's not playing. Nor is Paul George. And people aren't going to like that.
Well, that's utterly ridiculous.
Because we don't even really know he played in the Olympics every game. And we don't know about another injury that he suffered between then and now. So all indications are he should be playing, but they are limiting him.
Right now, those two teams, 76ers, Bucks, are outside of the playoff window. Now, it's obviously tremendously early. And in the West, you've got Dallas, which currently is outside of the playoff window. Now, they'll figure it out. They've got arguably the best player in the game. Although, who is? Is it Jokic or...
It's probably Luka right now. Although Jokic is right up there, no question. Giannis is still
Denver's
good.
Been playing better after a pretty slow start.
I'm interested to see where Giannis goes because it's not going to last for him in Milwaukee. That clearly is over. He needs to go somewhere else.
Cavs now 12-0.
Yeah, good for them. Happy for him. No ill will toward the Cavs.
Oh, you have some.
No, I have no ill will.
You wish you'd have taken them.
No, I do not.
There's a part of you.
I didn't take the Pacers, right? I've always kind of liked the Pacers, and the Pacers kind of took me. Pacers kind of said, hey, either jump in or jump out, and I decided to jump in with the Indiana
So
Pacers.
they have the 76ers in Philadelphia tonight, do the Cavaliers. Then at home against the Bulls and Hornets before playing at Boston next Tuesday evening in one of the TNT games, which will be heavily watched because they'll be 15-0 at that time.
Could be, or maybe not.
Do they have 3 superstars in Cleveland?
They have 4.
No, I'm not
very,
talking.
very good players.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about.
No, they don't have 3 superstars, but they have 4 stars.
How many superstars do they have?
They have 1. Spida, Donovan Mitchell.
You're telling me Evan Mobley isn't a superstar?
He's a star, but he's not a superstar.
You're telling me Darius Garland is not a
star. Not a superstar.
What do you have to do to be a superstar?
You have to have. You know it when you see it. It's a Q rating kind of thing. It's a
Darius Garland averages 20.2 points per game, 6.5 assists per game.
There are very few superstars. We can't just throw that word around, or it loses a lot of its meaning. There's a handful of superstars in the league, and you can name them, and you know who they are.
Well, I don't know that I wouldn't put Darius Garland in that list.
Come on. Be serious.
He's a 52% field goal shooter, almost 53.
This has nothing.
Donovan Mitchell doesn't shoot that well. Averages more assists than Donovan Mitchell.
He handles the ball more.
Donovan Mitchell averages 3 more points per game than Darius Garland.
Okay. Well, Donovan Mitchell is what has taken them to this level for the most part. And the contributions they've gotten from their 2 big men. Now, obviously Garland too, but adding Donovan Mitchell is the piece that they needed.
Well, sure it is, but that doesn't lessen the impact of Darius Garland.
But he's not a superstar.
I don't know.
Come on. Be real.
I don't know.
Be real.
Is he going to make the All-Star team this year?
Very well could. I don't know.
Superstar.
All-stars aren't superstars. All-stars are all-stars. The guys who start the game and
right now,
get
Mitchell and Garland and Mobley are all-stars.
Could be.
Right now. Now we're
Jared Allen
early,
too.
But we are 12 games in.
I understand.
If my math is correct, that's about between 15 and 20% of the schedule.
Yeah, it's about 1/7 ish.
No, 15.
They're 12-0.
Yeah,
not 15-0.
You're right. They'll be 15-0.
Or they won't. Or they'll lose to somebody.
Well, I don't know why you can say that.
Are you going to watch the NBA Cup Friday, Indiana, Miami?
No.
Okay.
I'm not.
Fine.
I just don't care about Indiana.
But you don't like. I'm asking, will you watch the NBA Cup?
I'll watch Cleveland-Boston next Tuesday.
I'm just telling you what game Indiana.
I don't watch the NBA Cup.
They're going to make some noise in the NBA Cup. Again,
don't care.
They got Miami,
There's
Detroit.
nothing to be gained from
Miami, Detroit, Washington, or Miami, Detroit, Toronto, and Milwaukee.
Yeah, terrible teams. Who cares?
Yeah, we're going to get in there.
Who cares about the NBA Cup?
I do.
A failed idea doesn't mean anything.
We're reigning runner-up of the NBA Cup.
Who cares?
A lot of people do.
What do you get for winning the NBA Cup?
$1 million.
You just said Joel Embiid makes 50.
Okay, but what does their 14th guy make?
Oh, well, the 14th guy's not going to play in the NBA Cup.
Right, but they're going to want him to get $1 million.
Yeah, they'll cheer extra loud from the bench.
No, the players will play harder so their teammates who don't make that much money can get $1 million.
Oh, you're living in some other world, man.
One night.
If you think that's how that works.
I do think that's how it works. Have you never been in a locker room?
I've never been in an NBA Cup.
Do you not root for your teammates?
No.
Really?
No. When I played, it was all about this guy.
Yeah, I know.
Take a break, come back, continue the discussion, whatever it looks like, after this.
Why get all your holiday decorations delivered through Instacart? Because maybe you only bought 2 wreaths, but you have 12 windows. Or maybe your toddler got very eager with the advent calendar. Or maybe the inflatable snowman didn't make it through the snowstorm. Or maybe the twinkle lights aren't twinkling. Whatever the reason, this season, Instacart's here for hosts and their whole holiday haul. Get decorations from the Home Depot, CVS, and more through Instacart and enjoy free delivery on your first 3 orders. Service fees and terms apply.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show on 97.
Tomorrow we'll be making some picks, as we always do on Thursday. Nobody's really lit it up this year. Duda would have you believe he has. He's gotten a few bonus games right.
He's been doing well lately.
He's been performing well lately.
Started poorly. I'm doing poorly now, started well.
I'm doing horribly, basically, from start to now, and Max and Anthony aren't even factors. No offense to either of them.
Feel bad for them.
But they just haven't answered the bell. Tomorrow's bonus game will be Baltimore and Pittsburgh. Baltimore on the road, a 2.5-point favorite. That'll make your head hurt.
Tough line.
If somebody goes 10 on that one, they're just doing so. If we put actual money on it, no one would go 10 on that, would they?
No, absolutely not.
But Doodle will.
You think so?
Doodle will go 10 on it.
Well, because he thinks he's Mr. NFL. I would like to see him brought back to earth a little bit on NFL picks, because he doesn't know anything.
No, he's like the rest of us. We're doing our best. But none of us know anything. And for him to insinuate that he does is
off-putting,
offensive to our listening audience.
Yeah, it's just unsavory.
But anyway, there are some good NFL games: Washington, Philadelphia, Kansas City, Buffalo. And then the fourth NFL game I just threw in there was the Bengals at the Chargers. We haven't been paying much attention to the Chargers. They're quietly 6-3 under Jim Harbaugh. It's kind of obvious he can coach.
Well, I think we knew that.
What does he have? What is it?
An ability to coach. I don't know.
What is it? What if you had to?
I think it's players like him. I think he knows the game. I think he played the game. He played quarterback, so he understands a lot of different positions.
Why wouldn't the Chicago Bears have hired him?
Is there another?
What in the world?
Because they didn't fire their coach.
Yeah, they did. They had a chance to hire him. They didn't hire it. They hired Eberflus or whatever his name is.
Yeah, but he's not in his first year. Maybe the previous time.
Yeah, why didn't they?
And he wanted to go to Minnesota, I thought, a couple of years ago.
Well, here he is in L.A.
Are there any other, and you're probably going, oh yeah, Joe Montana or somebody, but are there any other quarterbacks who became good NFL coaches?
Well, not Joe Montana.
I know. I'm just saying.
Never coached.
I know. I'm just saying that you're going to come out with somebody obvious that I am not.
Well, I have to think about it. I'd need a little time. You can't just hit me with something, and
because it seems like no, not really.
You can't name some of the quarterbacks throughout time. Fran Tarkenton, no. Roger Staubach, no. I'm going back. Terry Bradshaw never coached. Darryl LaMonica. I don't know what you're wanting from me.
NFL quarterbacks who became head coaches. You have Sammy Baugh.
Well, Sammy Baugh had a good run.
Bob Waterfield. Norm Van Brocklin, Otto Graham, Bart Starr.
Well, that's many, many years ago.
Those are the Hall of Famers who became coaches after playing quarterback. You have Harbaugh. I'll go through the ones we know. Tom Flores, Jason Garrett, Gary Kubiak, Steve Spurrier. Yeah, there aren't that many. Jim Zorn. There aren't that many big-name quarterbacks. Jim Harbaugh's obviously the biggest since the previous eras.
And he was an okay quarterback.
Yeah, but he was good.
John, a lot of them became broadcasters.
Exactly.
I'll go down here and tell you who became a broadcaster. Drew Brees, Tom Brady.
Is Drew Brees still
not
broadcasting?
anymore? Peyton Manning, Matt Ryan, Eli Manning, John Elway. Was he a broadcaster for a little bit?
I don't think so.
Maybe not. No, he wasn't. Dan Fouts.
Dan Orlovsky.
Don't care about him. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Boomer Esiason, Troy Aikman.
Ryan Leaf.
Jim Kelly was a broadcaster for a little while.
He was.
Tony Romo. You've had Cam Newton is now on Stephen A. Smith's show quite often.
For what?
Commentary. He's a broadcaster.
Do I care what he thinks?
Kurt Warner, Steve Young,
Trent Dilfer,
Phil Simms, Rich Gannon, John Brody. The list goes on and on.
A lot of quarterbacks doing that gig.
I wonder why that is.
Again, same reason for coaching.
Trent Green.
Leadership. And
Trent Green's pretty good. He's with Kevin Harlan.
Yeah, they do a good job.
I like listening to them. Joe Theismann, Terry Bradshaw, Archie Manning. I don't know that he ever did much broadcasting. But a bunch of guys. Bob Greasy.
A lot of them.
For
Dan
a long
Marino.
time was a broadcaster of college football.
Did you even say Dan Marino?
Yeah, of course I said Dan Marino.
I think you missed him.
No, I didn't. I don't miss anything.
I don't remember Jim Kelly doing broadcasting. You have to remind me of that.
Well, of course he did.
When? Where? Was he an NBC guy?
No, I don't remember the details. But he was a broadcaster.
I'll take your word for it.
For a while. Was Roger Staubach ever a broadcaster? I don't believe so. But anyway, a bunch of guys, a bunch of former quarterbacks have become notable broadcasters.
Yeah, absolutely. Not as many have become notable head coaches.
No. They prefer getting in the broadcast booth.
Seems like the case, yes. A lot easier.
Merlin Olsen, of course, wasn't a quarterback, Max points out. I don't know what Max pointed out. Why'd you mention Merlin Olsen?
Because I think he was the best of all the former players that became announcers.
But he wasn't a quarterback.
Although Greg Olson's good.
Neither were quarterbacks.
Also not a quarterback.
All right, Don Meredith.
There you go.
Dandy Don.
There's a good one.
Him.
Thank you. My goodness.
Frank Gifford, not a quarterback. Was he? He did everything else.
Seems like he did some of that. I don't know. He was a little before my time.
Seemed like he was a halfback.
Yeah, he was a halfback. Let's call him a halfback.
That's what I feel like he was. A scat back. Is that still a position?
Sure it is.
Who's the best scat back you ever knew?
I don't know. Gale Sayers.
Me too.
Gale Sayers was pretty good at everything.
Was he a scat back, though?
I'd call him a back.
Nickelback?
I'd call him that. Don't worry about what I call him.
Linebacker?
No, he wasn't a linebacker,
Just pointing out the positions that have the word back in them.
Don't care. Defensive back, cornerback,
quarterback,
middle
running back, linebacker.
Middle linebacker. I got your
fullback.
Looking back of
Why
you.
is there so many backs in football?
Well, answer your own question.
I don't know.
If you're going to go down a road of something that you hope...
Here's why. You have the line, right? And then the guys behind those are the linebackers. And then you have the defensive backs. They're the backs. They're all the way back.
I don't like it when you go down...
Quarterback.
When you try to be funny.
I'm not trying to be funny. I'm explaining.
No, you're trying to be funny.
No, I'm not.
You're trying to go down that, I think I got something that's going to work here.
No, I don't.
Well, exactly. You don't have anything that's going to work.
That.
And when you start down that road, And I gotta endure the bumps because that was never going anywhere.
And then you have the quarterback who is somehow only a quarter of the way back. From what, though?
See what I mean? This is just awful.
Hey, Bob, don't forget.
Anybody who thinks this is entertaining is missing the point.
But no, I'm talking about, like, you have the halfback who's the running back, right? But the fullback, you would think he's all the way back. But doesn't the fullback, isn't he in front of the halfback? Makes no sense because he blocks for the halfback.
Tailback is what we call it.
We call him that
now. We call him a halfback in decades. Here's halfback Isaiah Pacheco. No, that's not what he is. He's a tailback.
Right. He's the tailback.
He's the tailback.
Why'd we call him a halfback back in the day?
Because you had a fullback and a halfback.
Yeah, but the fullback was in front of the
Fine, the fullback is the fullback. Let's take a break
already
before I knock this guy. I've never had a fist fight on the air.
You threaten it a lot, though.
I've had a few off the air. I've had a few off the air.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it got ugly.
This one will too, trust me.
Oh, it'll be ugly.
It will.
You'll be gasping for mercy.
He'll be choking on blood.
Oh, really? You're going that deep?
Yeah, I went that far with it.
Choking on blood.
What do you have for me now? Take it up another notch.
You like both your eyes?
Sort of.
Well, get used to one of them. We'll deal with that later.
Yeah, I may have crossed the line.
Yeah, you did.
May have.
You did cross the line.
I apologize to everyone who was offended by that.
Quarterback. Halfback. Hunchback.
Jim on the IHOP hotline, brought to you by IHOP. Hey, Jim.
Yeah. I can't understand a guy that was a king of all the pool halls between Wichita and Derby could go down to being settling things with a fist fight. I've never seen a fist fight in a pool hall in my life.
You haven't?
No, never.
You must not be in very many pool halls because as pacifistic as I am, I've seen a few fights in a pool hall before.
Oh, you have? Well, anyway,
yeah, that's pretty commonplace for
I was a good pool player until I went to Oklahoma. Those guys in Oklahoma can play pool.
Well known for their pool abilities. Doesn't seem unusual to me to have a fight in a pool hall.
Oh yeah, okay, that's all I got. Goodbye.
Thanks, Jim.
You're welcome.
There you go. That can't seem unusual to you, even, can it?
No. That's like every fight scene in a movie.
Now I wouldn't say, I would consider Side Pockets to be more than a pool hall, but certainly lots of pool being played. I saw a few fights at Side Pockets over the years.
People were fighting at Side Pockets?
No, I didn't fight.
I didn't say that. I said
but
people.
I saw a few fights. You have the combination of alcohol and
competition,
pool and competition, and
testosterone.
Well, I'm not going to get into all that. That's not my cup of tea. Maybe now you're an expert on that. I don't know.
No, I'm just saying that contributes.
Well, sure it does.
That's all I said, man. Take it down a notch. You seemed antsy today.
I haven't seemed antsy at all.
Yeah, at the beginning of the show, something was going on, and I don't know what's going on now.
You are an interesting individual.
Thank you. Why do you say that?
Because your lifelong pursuit has been to try to figure me out.
Okay, well, what have I done the last 15 years after I did that?
Well, I don't know. You're still trying.
No, I'm not. I think I got you.
No, you really don't.
Yeah, I really do.
You have no clue. You don't live with me on a daily basis. You don't see everything that happens.
I did, and I have.
I've changed a lot since you lived with me. I've changed a lot since you lived with me.
I think I got you, though.
I really don't.
I do.
No, I don't think you got me.
I very much do.
No, I don't. Well, tell the people what you know about me.
I just know how you are.
Describe me.
I know your personality.
Describe me.
I know how you'll react to things.
Describe me.
I know what you'll do, what you'll
tell
say.
The people.
I'm telling them.
No, you're telling them what you know.
Right. I know.
What is my personality?
I don't need to go there right now.
Go for it.
No, I don't want to. I don't get painted into corners. You know that.
What do you think my personality is?
This.
What is that?
A little overbearing. A little overbearing.
I'm overbearing. What else?
At times, yeah.
At times. What else?
You have positive attributes too.
I have positive attributes.
We don't need to get into all those.
What positive attribute?
Not doing it.
You're not going to give me a positive attribute?
Mm-mm.
Really? Mm-mm. My own son?
No, right now.
Off the air, will you?
Sure.
Okay, my mic's covered up. What?
You're good.
What do you have?
You're a good guy.
There you go. Nobody outside of my wife and my dog.
Why don't you just embrace who you are?
I do embrace who I am.
Why do you need to worry about what I think?
I do embrace who I am.
Just because I know your personality, that's not that big of a deal.
Nah, you don't really know.
Yes, I do.
You really don't.
I do.
You don't.
I know you better than
you know
anybody
me on
else.
this show.
No, I know you.
That's it.
No, I know you, my friend.
You don't.
Yes, I do.
You don't. You don't have a clue.
I do.
It's a shame you think you do.
It's not a shame. I think people should know their fathers.
No, I don't want you to know me.
And I do. I know you don't want me to, and that's where this is all coming from.
And you don't.
And I do.
But that's okay. Keep trying.
Dude,
someday you'll
pretty
get to the bottom of it.
I know you don't think that about me, but I'm a pretty good observer of behavior, and I'm perceptive, and I understand people. I get it. So this isn't I'm not out to get you. I just know you, and it's okay.
Nah, you don't know me.
Okay.
Here's the thing. You don't see me in my element ever. You see me here and when we watch wrestling. And that's about it.
Okay.
And then the other times you're around, you don't say anything. You're over in the corner and there's no communication.
Not necessarily true.
Pretty true. Your wife is excellent at communication. She says a lot. And you depend on her to say a lot. So in that way, it works out well.
See, why are you being like this?
Well, because I'm telling you, you don't see me in my element.
What's your element?
Many other things than this radio show.
I saw you at work. I've seen you at League 42.
When did you see me at work?
At work? Every day?
You did?
Yeah, we worked by each other quite often. And you actually, you took me to some games too.
I did?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
When did you see me at League 42?
I coached with you. I've been there.
I don't remember that.
Oh, that's crazy.
I don't remember you coaching with me.
Okay. Well, I put that out there. Obviously, you do remember me coaching with you.
You coached with me when we had the red jerseys. Remember that?
And the green ones for a little while.
I remember the red jerseys. You were a coach.
Yeah, and I coached also with the green jerseys.
What year was that?
I don't know. It was 3 or 4 years
age
ago.
Group?
I don't remember. I think it was the highest non-high age.
So 11 and 12.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I was there.
Maybe. Were you there when Taekwondo played for us?
Yes. I was standing right next to him when the thing happened to Taekwondo.
Okay, so you were a coach on that team with our friend Randy and with Carl. Is that correct? Does that ring a bell?
Yeah. And who was the other coach, the younger guy?
That was later. That was the red team.
Okay. Who was that? What was that?
I can't remember his name.
Gosh darn it.
Gosh, I just was thinking about him the other night and actually looked up his name, but now I can't think of it.
But you act like me knowing you is just me noticing negative traits. That couldn't be farther from the truth. Now, here's one aspect of you that I don't know. When you go out with,
good, I love this.
When you go out with the big wigs in town for fundraising, and I don't know that side of you. I don't know how that goes. I don't know how. I have a pretty good idea of how, but I've not seen it, so I can't I can't say for sure.
Well, someday you'll figure it out.
Yeah, someday.
Someday you'll figure it out.
Yeah, I can't wait.
All right, we've got Shockers tomorrow against Northern Iowa, a game I'm looking forward to. I think that will tell us a more complete story of Wichita State basketball, although I can't be sure about the Panthers yet.
I'm not sure on good Northern Iowa.
I just know that they have a coach.
Yeah.
Ben Jacobson. And
you think he regrets staying at Northern Iowa?
No, not at all. And then you have Mark Turgeon, a former Shocker coach, who will be back for that game. He and Ben Jacobson had some very hotly contested games back in the day, one in which Ben Jacobson's son, Ben, made a late shot to beat the Shockers at Coke Arena.
I thought they weren't related. Am I crazy?
Yeah, you are crazy.
I thought one spelled his name differently.
No.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Look that up.
No, I'm not. I don't need to look it up. Are we going to end the show on a disagreement?
Well, I just don't think you're right. It's not.
I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Okay, well, we'll just say
for purposes of the show.
Player spelled his name with an E.
I'm right.
All right.
And if I'm wrong, you'll never hear about it.
Never.
So did you find it?
Yeah, his son no, he doesn't have a son named Ben.
Well, he had a player named Ben.
He did.
Jacobson.
He sure did.
And in his spirit, he made a big shot. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a good night.